Today we're on Belmont Shore over at Teachers a la Carte, a unique group of women who love to teach and are offering courses to youths and adults in Long Beach. Courses ranging from academics to performance, visual, and fine arts. Today they're going to be having a meet and greet art show. So let's go in and see what's going on. Is this Teachers a la Carte?
It is. Hi, Rod. Come on in. Have a seat.
Don't mind if I do. So, Karen, how did you come up with Teachers a la Carte?
I've had 40 years of teaching experience, and I've been tutoring for quite a few years, and I wanted to expand. And I have 3 friends who are professionals and wonderful teachers. I brought them together so we could have more to offer to the homeschoolers in Long Beach.
Now, what made you decide to go the homeschooling route?
I've taught homeschoolers for probably 15 years now, and I love the curriculum, which is more open.
So basically, they have regular homework, right?
Oh, yeah, many of them do, yes. Okay. And it's great because a lot of their education is through the experience. So they get to, go to the Grand Canyon and experience the Grand Canyon instead of seeing it in a book. They get to go to the museums. And
so you're not stuck in a classroom all the time. You get how much would you say would be, let's say, experience on the field? In
the field, I would say most.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's great because the families, that everything is done as a family. So it's not, your kid goes to, school and spends, 7 hours of their day, in that environment. It's a family affair.
Is it both parents, or like how do you coordinate the parents' work schedules with the student schedules?
Yeah, most of the time mom has the kids 24/7. Dad is working really hard to support the family because mom is doing the teaching and not working.
Do you ever have all of them together? Like just the entire family, brothers, sisters, mom and dad, all going and experiencing these things together?
That is how they do it. Which is really cool because it's really neat to see that as a family thing. And the kids are much more open. They are much more creative and open to being educated, which is, as a teacher, that's refreshing.
So what is the social aspect compared to regular school? Is it that much of a difference?
I get that question every single time, and much to contrary belief, these children are so social. They get to go to dance class, they get to go to gymnastics class, they get to go to all of those things that the kids in public school wish they could, during the day. So they're very social. They have their friends. They have their, their whole circle. It's a great thing because a lot of the older kids teach the younger ones. So they'll have classes and they'll teach cooking class and they'll teach all kinds of different things so they get that aspect also.
Do the students get to decide any aspect of the curriculum? Like, do they decide, hey, let's go to the Grand Canyon or learn this? Is there more of an open decision on what the students get to study?
There is. Now there's different kinds of homeschooling. A lot of these students belong to a charter school, a homeschool, which is curriculum based through a charter, and so they have to stay with the curriculum. Then there's the other part of the homeschool where it's not, and the parents get to decide, okay, what the curriculum is going to be. And as all, you want to educate your student, your kids, reading, writing, arithmetic. right? So you want to give them all of the basics that they need. Most of the kids that are homeschooled do go off to either a community college or a state school. So it's very structured in that way. But they get a wide experience with their schooling, with their education. I would call it, instead of schooling, I would call it education.
Now, compared to education now, where there's a lot of overcrowding, there's a lot less attention one-on-one with students and teachers, do you think this is, I mean, I know homeschooling has been around for a long time. Do you think it's now going to become not the exception, but maybe on an equal footing with regular education?
That's a good question. I believe that probably more families would homeschool if they could afford it. I believe more are thinking about that. And with the situation with the public schools, it's difficult because the funding isn't there for the teachers to really do their best in the classroom because it's overcrowded.
And it would seem with homeschooling, there's more of an opportunity to train students for college to focus on improving any weaknesses, anything that needs to be built up for things like, SATs, etc. Do you find that that's happened with a lot of your students?
Yes, I have. Yeah, they have more time to do that. They have more interest in doing that. I find that most of the homeschoolers are self-motivated. You figure when you go to school, teachers hold you accountable, right? You get grades, you have tests, you have all of this. Homeschoolers actually have to be more disciplined because they don't have the system, saying that you have to do this.
It's more like you have to master the skill. Right. To move on to the next level.
Yeah, and so those homeschoolers have to be much more disciplined and really want to educate themselves.
From what you've seen, have you seen your students say that they're better prepared once they're in college right now?
I have, and I've graduated quite a few, and they've all gone to either a community college or a state school.
What was your feedback with them once they started school? How did they feel they were able to handle their course load, their homework, everything? Do you find that they were able to actually, get a handle on everything much better?
I don't know if it's much better, but they sure did. They adjusted very well because they're so, their education is so vast. It's a wide, range in their education. They adjusted very well, and they just fit right in, and they love it. I think that probably the open environment of college is more like their home school than it is, a public, school. So I've had quite a bit of success.
I understand that you have almost 40 years of experience teaching. Distilled from all that experience, what do you feel is the best techniques that you're using now towards your homeschooling for Teachers a la carte?
Because I've had so much experience, I have many techniques that I can incorporate. I don't see let's put it this way, I see each individual child, each individual student that I have as an individual. I don't see them just as, a kid coming in to learn algebra. Algebra is the subject, but I teach the student. I don't teach the subject, I teach the student. So out of all my years of experience, I've developed a wide variety of techniques that I can pull out of my hat to use. And if that one doesn't work, I have another one that will. So,
and do you think with the individual attention, you can actually see what is going on with the student? For example, back when I was going to school, things like, ADD or ADHD or other kind of stumbling blocks with learning weren't really addressed. It was basically kind of, a personal trait of the person, where now you can kind of see things and see, okay, maybe something's going on they need to look at. Do you think it's easier in homeschooling to look at a student and kind of see what's going on with how they're relating to the information?
Teaching students that, like you said, ADD, ADHD, whatever label you want to put on them, is one of my specialties. And I not only teach homeschoolers, but have had much experience in the classroom. I have taught students everywhere from autistic to the distinguished scholars. So that wide variety, that wide, educational experience on my part gives me a good foundation for any kind of student that I would have.
By having more one-on-one interaction with the students, you get to engage them, and then they're focused on what you're doing because you're connecting. Where my experience, especially in college, you go to a university and you're in a room of 500 students, it's very hard to stay in that moment when the teacher's speed reading the material. So I would imagine with what you're doing, you're able to kind of really focus on the student, and they can actually get something from your classes.
Yes. And I make it that's very special point because each one that comes down and sits in the chair opposite me is very special. And it doesn't matter if they're, it doesn't matter who they are. Okay, that person is very special that sits across from me. Another one of my specialties is teaching the forbidden subject of algebra. And I've come up with a way that, and a technique that I believe anybody can learn algebra.
So if, let's say, some parents came to see you and they were really unfamiliar with the whole concept of homeschooling, what would you say to them to kind of get them on board?
That's a good question because I find that in the homeschooling world, I teach the family. Not only the kids, but the family. Because it's so daunting sometimes, setting up, they're responsible for their kids' education. So I can help them set up an area at home where it would be the best environment for them to teach their kids. I can help them set up a program. And I can help them set up their curriculum. We can find the right materials for their children, and everywhere to setting up an environment at home.
Hi, what is your name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa, I understand that you were a student of Karen Ritchie's. How did you get to meet her and get involved in Teachers a la carte?
I was homeschooled from first grade, and I met her second grade, and I've had her since I graduated high school.
What kind of education did you receive with Karen?
I was homeschooled, so she helped me, tutored me in math and English.
So how was it? Were you in a class or was it one-on-one?
With Karen, we did one-on-one tutoring and also class tutoring.
And now what are the advantages of that as compared to regular school?
She can go in depth and help me with things that I personally am struggling with in school, and we could do a lot more hands-on activities. And
now how many students were together with you working? Was it just you or was it other people?
There were 2 other students.
Oh, very cool. So that much more time given each student. Like, you get like a couple of hours each or what?
Yeah, it was about 1 hour a week.
What advantages did you feel you got from homeschooling?
I got more one-on-one time and could study about things that I was more interested in and further my education that way.
Now, was there a lot of homework? What is it like in traditionally in a homeschooling class? I mean, how is it? Do you have anything to compare it to from what you hear from regular school?
For me, I could do a lot more hands-on activities, work with my schedule, do a lot more field trips and things like that.
Now, did you get to do other stuff like, I don't know, is there a homeschooling prom?
There is a homeschooling prom. There are dances and other activities and groups you can go to. I did go to some of them, and they were fun.
Oh, very cool. So you're not just like by yourself, in a room and it's dark and, you have lots of homework. It's actually fun. You seem like you had a good time there. Like it was a good thing. Now, how much did you learn when you were there? The things you studied. Do you feel like you got a full education?
Yeah, I feel like I got a full education in that. Maybe I was lucky in some other ways that I could learn about different things that they don't get to learn about in public school.
So at this point in your education, are you glad that you were homeschooled?
Yes, I think it helped me in a lot of ways and prepared me for what the future would hold.
Would you recommend being homeschooled to other people?
I definitely would. I think it's a great opportunity to not just have a education, but also further your education in certain areas that maybe you're more interested in.
I understand you graduated recently. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, what are you going to do now? What's next for you? Do you feel that homeschooling helped you for the next stage, like to prepare you for college?
Yeah, I'm in college right now. I'm my second semester, and I'm studying photography, and that's what I plan to do.
Oh, very creative. So did you do anything relating to photography or anything creative while you were in homeschooling? Like what made you get into photography or want to be in photography from your experience in homeschooling?
I did. I took photography in high school, and I also took some outside classes, photography classes, and I kept getting more interested in it. So.
Well, that sounds great. I hope we'll have a coffee table book from you soon. Puppies sell. Just throwing it out there. Thank you so much, Alyssa.
Thank you.
We're talking to the producer of I Love Long Beach, Keisha Minari, who also is an instructor here at Teachers a la Carte. So, Keisha, tell us, what do you do here?
I teach videography and filmmaking.
Now, what's the difference between the two?
Videography is primarily if you're going to document like a live event.
Now, how young a child can you teach videography to?
It all depends on the individual child. I would never make a blanket statement like, no children under 5. I've actually met some really genius children that are like 5, even like 4, depending, that can pick up a camera and work a computer and make movies, or they make them on their iPhones. So it all depends. I would always want to talk to the parents and the children and just assess like how technically competent they are, as well as visually, how much they understand visually. It would depend.
What is the advantage of learning videography in a homeschool setting as opposed to just playing around by themselves on an iPhone?
Well, I could teach them, things about like how to frame and how to edit, and I could teach them more artistic things so that you don't end up with like, the thousands, millions of cat videos that you have on YouTube, or
like composition and maybe story.
Yes, I could teach them about like simple things depending on the age, anywhere from a young child up until like a teenager who could probably really understand the grammar of the visual language. I could teach them something that would help to make their videos, stand out among everyone else's, and I think they would get a lot out of it. I happened to have met a little 9-year-old boy who was very serious about the studying film. And he wanted to know more about like the artistic part of it, like the visual language involved, and the so it all depends on how far they want to take it. If they just want to have fun and create stories, but I could teach them also how to write stories, like the structure to their story, like how to create a script that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, so that, again, we don't end up with thousands of cat videos. It would be actually, a cat has a story and it has a middle and then there's an ending, and
See, I haven't filmed my cat yet, because my cat I think would be pretty good on one of those videos. Okay, so you heard it there. So thank you very much, Keisha.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you, Rod.
This is Ashley. What do you teach here?
I teach performing arts, including the ukulele, the beginning guitar, other different types of guitar techniques, beginning voice, and different styles of dance and movement.
So what do you like best about performance art, Ashley?
The thing that I enjoy best about performing in front of a live audience, whether it be vocal, playing guitar or ukulele, or dancing, that you can't exactly replicate every performance. No one performance is going to be exactly like the next. And sometimes you're able to be free and kind of improv, or just kind of bend within the rules or within the song a little bit, just kind of open it up. or just try something new with another singer that you're working with, or another dancer that you're working with, what have you. It's very exciting. It's very thrilling in any venue, either vocally with an instrument or dance movement. It's always in the moment, especially if it's live, or if it's in the studio. Every take is different. Every single take is different, and you can never replicate it like a machine. It's a human, and you're watching somebody moving on the screen, or some voice that's never going to sound exactly just quite the same the second take, or it's different every time. So to get that, especially when we're talking about live performances, that quality, to be able to teach youth, that is exciting, because to see what the end product is you never know what's going to happen, and that's just as exciting as being on stage, is teaching a younger or older child. So it's it's thrilling. Actually, you know what? I have a quote. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to share it. It's about dancing, and it says, "You have to love dancing to stick to it. It gives you nothing back, no manuscripts to store away, no paintings to show on walls and maybe hang in museums, no poems to be printed and sold, nothing but that single fleeting moment when you feel alive." It's by Mercy Cunningham. And I think it's so true, because there is nothing like having the chemistry between another cast member, say, or you and just the audience, because every audience is different, and it's not that scary once you get used to it. It's really not. So I think it's important for kids to know that, you know.
It's very good.
Yeah. Audiences can be very forgiving and very friendly.
We're now talking to Mary Kiernan, and Mary, tell us, what do you do?
I am one of the instructors here at Teachers a la carte, and I teach the art.
The art of what?
The art of all kinds of things.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Now, what is the art of all kinds of things in terms of your students? Is it some of the things that we have on display over here?
That is some of the things. It's the Go Green gift art, and that is a whole exploration into how to access the creative part of your mind, which can only be accessed through doing art. And we have a lot of wonderful kids who have a lot of really wonderful things to say when they get the time to do that and say that. One of the classes that I teach with the kids is an art history class, and it's a total adventure because, just to give you an example, we do the cave paintings, and the cave paintings were found over 30,000 years ago. And when they found them, the colors were vibrant, everything was beautiful. They couldn't believe that after all this time, it was so preserved. But what really shocked the world was the stories that the pictures told in the cave paintings. And they were so good and they were so elaborate that it actually changed history. So once the kids learn about that, they get an assignment where they're now going to have to come up with a message that they want to tell somebody 5,000 years into the future. And they can say it about themselves, about their life, what's the world like, what do you believe in. They can go anywhere they want, but they have to access that creative thinking where it stops them and they go, what do I want to tell somebody 5,000 years from now? And so it's a great adventure.
So I understand you teach kids as well as adults in your class. Do you have any examples of some of the work they've done?
Not that they've done, but I have examples of the work that I do, which shows them the type of art that they can learn from me. Here's an example. And what this is it's a beautiful gift box or a jewelry box, and it comes with the jewelry that goes inside, and they match. And this type of art itself is called Go Green art. And it's keeping in mind using the smallest footprint as possible. So a lot of the materials, paper, and the construction of the whole thing is done with
already existing papers and earth materials. It's all done with paper and how to put that all together and create something that comes from your heart.
Okay, now for any potential students, what do you want to tell them as far as what they can expect from you as a teacher?
Basically, what they can expect is they're going to be in an atmosphere where they can really take time and explore the creative part of their mind. Everybody has it, which means everybody's an artist. And when you have time to create those places within yourself, it touches all areas of the rest of your life. You know how to look at things differently. You can problem solve differently in different areas, and it just enhances your enjoyment for everything that you're doing.
Now, if anyone wants to get in contact with Teachers a la carte, how can they contact you?
They basically can go to our website, which is teachersalacarte.com, and it has all the information on all the different classes that we have. And if they have any questions, they can contact us through that way.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for inviting us over to Teachers a la carte. And there you have it, folks. Come and check out what they have going on here and go on the website for Teachers a la carte. And we will see you next week on I Love Long Beach. See you soon.
Though the days are long, twilight sings a song of the happiness that used to be. Soon my eyes will close, soon I'll find repose, and in dreams you're always near to me. I'll see you in my dreams. Someone took you out of my arms. Still I feel the thrill of your charms. Lips that once were mine. Tender eyes that shine. They will light my way tonight. I'll see you in my dreams. They will light my lonely way tonight. I'll see